You might be aware that many companies, individuals, elite athletes, professionals, and entrepreneurs are taking up meditation at an unprecedented rate. But you might not be aware of why they are doing that. So stay tuned, because over the next 30 minutes, I'll get you up to speed on why meditation is the highest leverage activity for your time for high performance, better health, overcoming your personal challenges in life, and more than 10 other benefits, so that you don't miss out. And you might be wondering who I am and why you should listen to this class. But before that, let's see if this is for you. Although everybody can benefit to some extent from meditation, certain people can get highly leveraged results from meditating. And first, I want to share who those people are. Now, there's 7 main ways that meditation styles that I recommend benefit leaders, whether they're professionals or executives or entrepreneurs, creative artists, athletes, or in any type of leadership role. So stay tuned if you want one or more of the following: better focus and higher quality work done in less time, usually about 50% less. Overcoming fears that you know are keeping you from your dreams and your happiness. Awareness and changing weaknesses that are holding you back. Inner peace. Creative problem solving. Faster and more effective communication with business colleagues and family. And finally, more satisfying relationships. So if any of these, or even more than one of these, is something that you would like to develop this year, then stay tuned, because we're going to explain how meditation is the fast track for achieving all of these things. We're going to share as much as we can in the 30 minutes or less. And then at the end, we're going to let you know how you can get more in some of our personalized training programs in meditation. So my name is Kira Lescu, and I'm the founder of the Eagle Institute. And my number one passion is helping others to quickly improve their lives for themselves, for the companies they work for, and for their personal connections. And to date, I have more than 12,000 hours in personal practice in yoga and meditation, and I've trained more than 300 people in various aspects of meditation to improve their businesses and their lives. And I gained all of my experience while building successful multi-million-dollar businesses, not once, but twice. In the second time round, I was also top 10 in the world as a masters competitive swimmer in 2 events, while at the same time growing a company. And a strong meditation practice was the foundation of all my successes and the many challenges that I faced along the way. Meditation helped me to get where I am today, because I was able to heal and overcome some very painful inner challenges. And the first one was overcoming fear. Although I've been teaching yoga and practicing meditation for more than 20 years, I didn't tell anybody other than a very small group of people. The fear of telling others that not only I meditated, but that I was a qualified teacher was paralyzing. I had a 2-day panic attack before I put my first video on YouTube, and that was more than 4 years ago. And it was an ugly one. I was crying, and the fear was so intense that I had a massive headache and I couldn't breathe. Meditation got me through and helped me to not only overcome the fear, and the common wisdom is to have the fear but do it anyways, but I actually eliminated the fear, which most people say can't be done. But the right meditations are perfectly capable of doing that, and they did that for me. The second thing that meditation helped me to do was to deal with some negative family patterns that I grew up with. I grew up with gaslighting and narcissistic and people that were very manipulation that get you to question your own reality. For example, I would get sick from eating certain foods, and I was told that I was making it up. By the time I reached my late 30s, my body was in such shock from eating foods that I was allergic to that my liver wasn't really functioning anymore, and I had to go in a very strict diet for many years to fix it. Other examples were denying my feelings, telling me I had no right to be angry, disappointed, or frustrated, even when the circumstances were well justified. And people lying to me to get me to do things, or me just being plain overtired from the huge workload I was expected to carry at a very young age. People can't gaslight me anymore, and it even rarely happens that someone tries. And doing specific meditations helped me to change that pattern in myself, which meant that others just couldn't do it anymore. And I eventually set boundaries for these people so that they are no longer in my life. Now, I'm going to give you as much as I can in our 30 minutes together here, but at the end, if you feel like this is valuable to you, I will share with you how you can take this even further to start transforming your own career or your life. And because it would take way longer than 30 minutes, I'm only going to cover 2 of the ways in which meditation is the highest leverage for your time for high performance, better health, overcoming your personal challenges in life, and many more. Now, the first way is grossly underestimated by people, and that's inner peace. Being stressed, upset, anxious, overwhelmed leads to taking more time to get work done, making mistakes, physical disease, lost time at work, lost time with important relationships. And when it goes unmedicated, it shortens your life expectancy. Good feels good for a reason. When you feel good, you get things faster and you enjoy your life as you go. There is no happy ending to an unhappy journey. And people that cultivate inner peace know what actions they need to take and don't waste time. And they get to their intended results faster. People that cultivate inner peace don't get triggered as easily by other people or by circumstances. And people that cultivate inner peace enjoy both small pleasures as well as the bigger ones. And they're not as affected when life throws them a curveball or they are undergoing a challenge. Now, in my opinion, in the opinion of most of the people that I have taught to meditate, that alone is enough. But if you're still wary or skeptical, let me tell you a story about the first person that I ever taught to meditate. When I met him, it was in the context of business coaching. He was really struggling with his business as well as his personal life. He was so exhausted and stressed and overwhelmed that it was difficult to have a conversation with him. His focus was negative and wandering, and his mind just seemed that everything was a threat. And from the way he was talking, I could tell that the fight or flight syndrome had been activated in him. And I knew that he wouldn't be able to do the other things that his business needed unless he started to calm down and regain the strength of his positive mind. The first 3 weeks that we worked together, we talked briefly about business and strategy, but mostly I was teaching him techniques to stop the stress cycle. The first one I taught him was pranayama, or specific breathing techniques that are one of the sister sciences to yoga. I actually made him do it every hour during the time that I was there. I also stopped our discussions and did a technique with him every time his negative mind got out of control. I taught him some mindfulness and action techniques to focus on the positive and how to do micro meditations. And he loved it so much and saw the benefits that he started calling me, even when I wasn't working with him, to do new techniques. And I finally told him he could do them on his own, that he didn't need me for them. Fast forward 2.5 months later, he cut his working hours by 60%. Sales had gone up. He'd replaced some of his people on his team, and he had a huge insight that resulted in his business doubling in size over the next 18 months without the stress or the overtime. Within 4 months of regular progressive meditation practice, he'd made some decisions in his life that he had been avoiding and that ultimately led to more fulfillment and more happiness. And this is results with only a few short times per day when a busy, accomplished entrepreneur took the time out to cultivate inner peace and to spend time getting to know what he needed to feel fulfilled and happy. Today, he meditates 6 days a week because he loves the way he feels, and it helps him to enjoy the relationships in his life and keeps his life in balance. It keeps his creativity high and enjoying the things that he's already created. Now, one of the most overlooked and my personal favorite reason to meditate is to become aware of your unconscious tendencies and that are ultimately costing happiness and success. The right meditation techniques will not only make you aware of these, but also transform them into strengths. And most people today are aware they need to grow as a person for their careers or their businesses to keep growing. And many people are miserable in their personal situations because they don't think that they need the same level of self-awareness and skills and growth. And almost every major world religion has some version of the greatest gifts are within. They're hinting at awareness in the healing that's possible for you if you become aware of and release unconscious tendencies. Knowing your tendencies, especially the ones that are costing you success and happiness, are not enough for most people to make deep and lasting changes. Always, we can default to certain behaviors or habits, and there's often an unconscious pattern there. And the truth is that every situation is unique, and two situations look the same may need different courses of action for success. The right meditation practice will give you that awareness and the capacity to act from your intuition, not your habits, whether they're conscious or unconscious. And when you get this, you get different results. You'll also be happier than you've ever been before. The happiness which comes within is reliable. Happiness that depends on conditions can come and go very easily. And meditation is the best way to cultivate this. As you cultivate this, your inner habits, whether you're aware of them or not, will start to transform and dissolve. And the list of conditions that I've seen people change in a relatively short period of time with meditation continues to astound me every day. So let me tell you a story about Amy. Amy was extremely unhappy in her personal life, especially her marriage, but also her relationships with her parents. Although when I first met her, she was unable to articulate this. She suspected that things were not as they seemed with her husband, and she wanted to develop her intuition to understand not only his truth, but her own. And the truth was she was denying what she already knew, but didn't trust it because she didn't have the framework to understand it. And she was afraid of what her understanding might mean. The first skill that Amy learned from me was where to look for her own happiness in her own truth. And in order to do that, she had to learn how to get the influence of other people out of her thoughts and her energy field. And once she was able to do that, she was able to start seeing what she needed to be to happy. And she was able to start to see what was really happening in her marriage, as well as the relationships with her parents. That's when she started to set some boundaries, something she had never done in her life. She set boundaries energetically first. And all that means is through mental and emotional and through meditation techniques. In less than 2 months of regular practice, Amy had for her first breakthrough. She realized that her husband was cheating and she put her foot down. Mirror the other women. He tried everything in her book to get her to accept an open relationship, but this wasn't her desire. So she kept her resolve and in a very honest way told him things were done as long as he wanted other women. He was shocked that she did that. And she was even surprised at herself as she had rarely been able to stand up for herself in situations. Her pattern was to please other people, no matter what the cost was to herself. For me, this required a combination of techniques to get to this point, but she was able to have this major breakthrough in under 3 months of regular practice. After that, she learned techniques to conquer her fears, her pent-up sadness, grief, and anger. For many people, this can take months or a few years, depending on how much you practice and how much emotion has been suppressed. But as with most people, she didn't have to wait till the end to experience substantial increase in her happiness and her enjoyment in life. She regularly feels content and peaceful and happy with her life, even as she continues to release these old emotions. But by this time, you might be wondering if meditation will have these benefits for you too. And so far, I've covered just 2 of them. But just to remember, here are the other 7 ones. Number 1, better focus to get higher quality work done in less time, usually about 50%. Number 2, overcoming fears that keep you from either your dreams or your happiness, like Amy. Number 3, awareness and changing weaknesses that are holding you back. Number 4, inner peace. Number 5, creative problem solving. Number 6, faster and better communication with family and colleagues. And number 7, more satisfying relationships. Now, you don't have to pick which benefit you want. If you develop and continue a meditation practice, you'll get all of these benefits and a whole lot more. However, not every meditation technique will give you all of these. And doing a technique incorrectly may give you more stress or upset rather than less. It's all about using the most effective techniques to help people achieve their objectives. And this is one thing that we help people to do, is to decide what their objectives are and to provide the techniques that are appropriate to their level so that they can progress in a shorter amount of time as practical. We have many different techniques that we teach people, along with a theory of how and why the techniques work effectively, safely, and quickly. And the only way we can determine which ones are right for you is to do a personal evaluation where we'll assess your current state, your main objectives for starting or advancing your meditation practice, and what are the safest and fastest techniques for you to work with based on your objectives. Now, these generally take about between 30 and 45 minutes. Then we make recommendations for your personal practice and let you know how you can work with one of our trainers to learn and perfect the techniques. Often people have many questions about their practice, whether they're doing the techniques correctly or they want to understand the things that come up in their practice. And this is what the trainers are for. They have the personal experience of taking the journey to get to know themselves, and they also know the route. All of our trainers have a minimum of 5,000 hours of personal practice, and I personally have more than 12,000 hours of personal practice, plus thousands more in teaching others. Whether you study with us or not, you should be wary of anybody that you take meditation with, as the amount of personal practice that a person has, along with how much they are currently practicing, matters. And we require all of our trainers to take advanced or higher level classes of training ongoing, plus to have their own personal practice that is progressing in level. And this should be a minimum for any serious meditation trainer. You should also be receiving regular feedback from your trainer. Not only does this keep you motivated, but it also saves years or months of time if you're not progressing to more challenging techniques. And I personally seen meditation teachers that have taken a weekend course and that have no personal practice. That's like watching a YouTube video on how to drive and then trying to teach somebody else how to do it in a snowstorm. You can't make up for loss of personal experience. So regardless of the level you're at, completely new or with years of experience of practice that is not progressing, we have techniques and programs that will help you to move forward. Meditation is now becoming mainstream because it's an important skill for personal growth and to navigate in the fast pace in our society. So if this resonates with you and you want to learn more about how meditation can improve your personal situation, we invite you to take the personal evaluation. The 45-minute call will give you the clarity that you need to determine if this is right for you. And as a bonus for scheduling a personal evaluation, we'll give you an additional pre-recorded meditation series to practice on your own so that you can see the difference between just watching a video and having interactive training. And you can book your personal evaluation by clicking on the link and filling out the form. This is the fastest way for us to manage multiple scheduling options. So I look forward to discussing your meditation objectives with you.